Hello everyone, and welcome to Linux Forensics here at Pentester Academy. In this video, we're going to talk about some first steps once you have an image that you are ready to mount. So I have an image that I captured to an external drive. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my external drive, and then I'm going to use a script from a previous video in order to mount it. So one of my scripts is called mount image.py, and I'm going to run it as root. And the image I want to mount is on my external drive, and it is here. So I'll go ahead and mount that, and it told me looks like it's an MBR, and it found a bootable partition type 83, which is Linux, and it also found an extended partition, and it warned me, and it said that this script doesn't support those, but we do have a script for that. Now, if I actually ran that script, it won't do anything in this case. And the reason for that is that this extended partition is nothing but a swap partition. So if I go ahead and rerun it, sure enough, it comes up and it says, I am skipping that swap partition. If I run a mount command, I can see right here at the bottom that I've mounted onto media part 0 an ext4 file system read-only with no access time updates, which is what I wanted. Great, so now I'm ready to do some work. In a previous video, we talked about how you could create a timeline using some commands while doing live analysis. Recall that we talked about using the find command and some of its parameters in order to create some Mac time files that we then sent over the network. Well, we can do something very similar using a script here. So I've created a pretty simple script. Here it is. Starts out with shebang bin bash, a usage function. It takes one parameter, the starting directory. And again, why does it have a starting directory? It has a starting directory because you might not want to do all of it. It might take a little while for this to run. If you don't pass in enough parameters, then I call usage. And here's what I do. I first capture the current directory. And the reason I do this is if you look at the generated file, if I don't change to the root directory for my image, I'm going to have a path prepended to all of my file names, which is not what I want. So I change to the appropriate directory. I then print a header, and I'm using semicolons to delimit each of my values. So I put out access date, time, modified date, time, creation date, time, etc. Then I use my find command on the current directory, and for every file that I find, I print out all of these things. And these things were covered in a previous video. When I'm done, I cd to my old directory. So I can go ahead and run this. and I'm going to run it, and it's called Get Max, and I'm going to run it on Media, Part 0, and I'm going to redirect the output to Media, Fill, Toshiba, Disk Images, 2015 3.9, and I want this to be Max. Or actually, I'm going to call this one CSV. And it runs. It'll take just a little bit of time. And this is one of those things where it will run a lot faster if you have a USB 3 drive. If you're running a USB 2 drive, even the simple command will take quite a while because it's having to essentially do an ls recursively through the entire file system. And that's done now. Well, that's all for this video. As always, if you're enjoying these videos here at Pen Tester Academy, please tell a friend and help us spread the word. We'll see you soon.